Thank you. Pastor Tilak stole my thunder, and he didn't plan to. When he asked that we sing that song, We Are One in the Spirit. I like that song. I like the verse, I think it's the last verse that says, we will work with each other, we will work side by side. And we'll guard each man's dignity and save each man's pride. I love that song. And my children know it by heart. When I was in the United States, we had an organization there and we sang it every time we got together. I like the words. I used to sing it as a little boy at the St. Pius RC Church when I was growing up as a student, wayward as I was at the St. Pius school there. I want to say that as I listen to the presenters and as I look at what is happening here in Guyana and around the world, I want to say that religions have failed the world. When we look at what the subsect, and the Maulana was careful to identify the fact that it is a subsect of the Muslim community who are on this tirade and causing this whole global tenseness. You know, I remember when I used to fly back in the day as a journalist, overseas correspondent, you know, you used to run to the airport and run on the plane. I don't know if anybody remember those days. You know, you just ran to the airport and ran on the plane, literally ran. Now you got to take off your shoe, your belt, your hat, your false teeth. If you have a pacemaker, you have to go in a special line. You know, it's terrible. And it's all done under the name of religion. As we bring it closer home, I would want to say that it is religion that has failed Guyana. Think for a moment, 97% of Guyanese would say that they are religious. 97, whether you're Baha'i or Christian or Muslim or Rasta, you would say you are religious. But yet we are so nationally splintered and divided that we, Guyana, has won itself the unenviable title of being the poorest, most corrupt nation in this hemisphere. Now, how can 97% of religious people, think for a moment, be the most corrupt and the brokest, poorest nation? We are broken, poor, and corrupt because religion has failed. It is our religious corrupt leaders. It is our religious racist leaders. It is our religious selfish leaders who have gotten us, and we're going to 50 years, being led by people, all of whom claimed at some point to be religious. And yet we are the most hated in the Caribbean and the most disrespected, yet we say we're the most religious. So I would want to say that it is that religion has failed. And it is sobering, Madam Chairperson, that it would take the escalation of crime and the escalation of the suicide epidemic for this to happen. We would have been satisfied to continue to hate each other and to get to our election time or to get to whatever time it comes for us to hate, and we would have been satisfied to hate each other's guts. But because crime is escalating and the suicide epidemic is getting worse, here we are, ta-da, let's come together, religious, and let's talk, and let's meet. What I like though, we have a saying in Christianity that God takes our lemons and makes lemonade. And even though it is under duress almost, we are held hostage. I just as an aside here, I want to build some blocks. I'm doing some building up Providence. I'm building my home, and so I bought some sand yesterday. I bought some cement, and I have it in the back of my yard. But I live right there on Hatfield Street, and the street behind me is Leopold Street. And you know what I took an hour yesterday doing with my 20 bags of cement? I put galvanize, I tie a string, and I tie some bottles. Now I hope nobody here lives around there. And so I have it that if you move the galvanize, the bottles will fall, and the neighbors will hear, and I will get up, and I will, imagine that I have to do all of that because I'm held hostage by those who would want to who would want to treat me unfairly by carrying away my stuff. And that is what is happening in Guyana. We're not safe anymore. For a moment you think you didn't lock your car, you're out the building, down the step, back to your car. Did I lock it? Ah! Did I forget my keys? Is my front door open? Did I lock the grill? Ah! And so now we're saying, let's come together as religious folks and let's see if we can make it work. Well, maybe we should have done this a long time ago. And I would want to think as an optimistic pessimist that maybe if it has to continue in order for us to come together, then so be it. I want to say, and I want to agree with Sister Mary, that the politicians can't do it. Politics is the art of multiplying by dividing. The politicians cannot do it. It is we who are religious that have to say enough is enough. And we are going to work together, and we're going to transcend religious barriers, and we're going to make this thing work. Because if we don't do it, it's going to get very worse before it ever gets better. So, like all the others, I await the next invitation, starting with Maulana. In Jesus' name.